When we think about artificial intelligence, we think about it in isolation. Artificial intelligence systems such as ChatGPT and other language models are a form of artificial intelligence that interacts with its user through user-generated prompts or API calls to the language model. Currently, there is no physical interface between these language models and their human users, where they create a form of symbiotic relationship as found in the biological world. One of the directions that leading research in artificial intelligence is taking place is to enhance the intelligence capabilities of humans beyond their current physical limitations. Imagine a person being able to perform arithmetic calculations on par with one of the fastest supercomputers of today, or analyzing huge datasets instantly just like language models like ChatGPT is able to perform. If scientists are able to integrate, biologically through physical processes, the artificial intelligence systems with the human nervous system, then it would revolutionize advances to human society. So researchers in Australia have developed a chip called Brainchip that may be the first step towards the goal of biochips capable of integrating with humans physically. Before going on to explain, we will take a look at the fundamental and most important cell of the human nervous system called neuron cells. The human nervous system is based on two basic types of cells. Firstly, glia, cells that provide structure to the brain, and secondly, special cells called neurons. These neurons transmit and receive electrical systems throughout the human body. The transmission of these electrical signals allows us to perform our basic functions such as eating, sleeping, walking, thinking, and other internal biological processes. Neuron cells consist of three essential parts, called the body, a branch called an axon, and another branch called dendrite. These three parts allow the neuron cells to properly function by sending and receiving messages throughout the human nervous system. The body of a neuron cell consists of a nucleus that controls the electrochemical signals sending and receiving. The axons look like long tails and send messages from the cell. The dendrite looks like the branch of a tree and receives messages for the cell. Neuron cells throughout the body are connected with each other. A neuron cell in isolation is of no use to the human body. So all of the neuron cells form a large interconnected network that is spread throughout the human body. These interconnected neuron cells send electrical signals across a tiny space called synapse between the axons and dendrites of nearby neurons. So scientists in Australia have replicated this process in the lab using a chip called Brainchip. Before going to explain what Brainchip is and how it works, I am going to give disclaimer that this research is basically at a preliminary stage. We are not going to see mass-produced brain chips in the market anytime soon. This is somewhat of proof of concept that will lead to further development in the artificial intelligence field. So as I have said before, scientists in Australia have developed a chip that they are calling a Brainchip. Brainchip is essentially a collection of neurons of human and mouse grown in culture and mounted on arrays of microelectrodes that can be simulated with signals and their activity be read. This collection of some 8 lakh neurons acts as a collection of neurons that can be controlled in a specified way by giving it a particular set of signals. What the scientists have developed is something called synthetic biological intelligence, which was previously the domain of science fiction. This collection of neurons were able to respond to signals that essentially showed a form of intelligence found in living beings. In simple terms, scientists were able to test the intelligence-like capabilities of these neuron cells, which were completely isolated from living things, connected together on a set of microelectrodes. The team set up a game of pong, and instructed the cells where the paddle was and how far the ball was from the paddle. They then allowed the Brainchip to control the paddle left or right. The neurons in the Brainchip were then stimulated with a positive signal, which for the neuron cells were predictable signals, when the ball was hit with the paddle, and a negative signal, which for the neuron cells were unpredictable signals. These neuron cells inside the Brainchip were taught through electrical signals to act in a particular way, which in this case was to hit the ball with the paddle. This behavior of the chip to learn from external stimuli and act accordingly showed a form of learned behaviors. It is the same techniques through which living beings learn new behaviors. The field of AI and human integration currently is at very early stages. We cannot see with certainty where this would ultimately lead to. Maybe in the future there are going to be brain chips that will increase the capabilities of humans beyond their current limits. This type of technology, which was a part of science fiction and video games, is finally becoming a reality with the development of AI. If the researchers are able to develop chips that are not dangerous to human civilization but increase their productivity, then I am sure that future versions of AI are going to form symbiotic relations with humans and lead to society where AI and humans work collaboratively for the betterment of society. I would like to hear your comments on the topic, and don't forget, if you liked this video, consider subscribing to the channel and like the video.